Thank you. Senator Hickenlooper.
I appreciate that line of questioning. I was ready for you to continue as well. I could have given you a minute or two. Mr. Smith, Microsoft has a long and deep history in transforming workplaces all over the world through software, from Windows operating system to its Office applications like PowerPoint, Excel, and now the AI-powered Copilot application. In software development, life cycles seem to be becoming increasingly shorter, updates becoming more frequent. What are the internal processes that Microsoft follows to evaluate Copilot's accuracy and performance before it was released? And what kind of independent review teams, other than Microsoft's own product developers, are involved in that? Who do you bring in to help with that?
Well, first of all, since most of what we're talking about here, when you're talking about our copilots, start with models that are developed at OpenAI, I would say OpenAI has its internal process. There is then a joint, what's called a DSB, a Deployment Safety Board, where we decide together whether something is safe to deploy, as the name implies. We then, at the applications level, have our own internal Deployment Safety Board. We have a variety of engineering tools that we use to assess these features. We test these features. We have red teams, meaning sort of competing teams that often go to work to sort of attack the features. And then ultimately, the product is released when those tests are completed and the results are satisfactory.
Good, I like that. Let me go over to Mr. Altman. Obviously, you all have a natural incentive to ensure that the products are high quality and safe, but the field is so competitive, and in applied research and with rigorous testing, these constant improvements really are fundamental steps to the performance of a model. So risk assessments are that key tool, and I'm a big believer in evidence-based technical standards. I've been accused of being the only real scientist who's published peer-reviewed papers in the Senate. So, Mr. Altman, do you believe that under appropriate circumstances, independent evaluations based on standards performed by qualified evaluators and done voluntarily could help validate the testing that you're performing internally and in conjunction with peer companies?
Thank you, Senator, and I think it's awesome that you have published peer-reviewed papers, and would love to see more of that.
Well, wait a second. I was on the Maslow's triangle of science. I was near the bottom. I was a geologist, so that's I'm not high up in that.
Geology is great. Yes, I think what you say is very important. It's an important part of our process today. External testing helps us find things that we may have missed internally, and we're very proud of our safety record on the whole. Not that we've not been perfect, and we're continuing to learn new things, but I think we do have a process that is leading towards models that the public generally thinks are safe and robust to use. And we've developed a lot of techniques to be able to continue to deliver that, but external testers and red teamers are a critical part of that process, and I think they've helped us find many things in the models to improve.
Mr. Smith, would you add anything to that?
No.
Okay. Got it. Someone giving testimony who doesn't have something to add. It's a moment of scientific reflection. Dr. Su, the Bipartisan Chips and Science Act, historic effort to try and maintain U.S. leadership in emerging technologies like semiconductors, but others as well. As the technology arms race continues globally, and you were talking about this, AMD plays a key role in delivering state-of-the-art designs, the best, for the new chips that are going to power electronics and the devices that are going to allow AI to become global. As scientists work around the clock to develop new breakthroughs and to try and increase and improve in performance, but at the same time shorten R&D timelines, what do you see as the next frontier of chip technology in terms of energy efficiency? And how could, and that's not just based on the Chinese competitors, but how can we work together to improve direct-to-chip cooling for high-performance computing?
Well, thank you for the question, Senator. I would say, look, there is a tremendous amount of innovation that's going on in the semiconductor sector today. The CHIPS and Science Act was certainly helpful in raising the profile of chips in the United States relative to, what are we doing to go faster and build better and more power efficient chips. Frankly, we're using AI extensively through our chip development cycles, and it does allow us to augment what are typically very long cycles, many years, several years for us to develop chips. We can shorten the time and also improve the efficiency. And there are lots and lots of great new technologies in terms of cooling technologies that are super important for us to build the large-scale systems that we talked about earlier today. So thank you for the question.
No, you bet. All right, I'm out of time. I'll yield back to the chair. Thank you all.
And Senator Hickenlooper, I will say, as a Texan whose parents were in the oil and gas business, I think geologists are awesome.
We have a consensus.